One, two. Thank you, Joseph. All right, Zozo District, welcome in the house. Okay, Liberia. Atlanta, Georgia is also in the house, It's massive also. Welcome to each and every one of you. We're taking this way. Okay, I just posted what I say. I hope enough photo opportunities. I just saying the statement that I'll leave it. You can complete it, or you can figure out. I hope. You know this photo thing here. I don't know. For me, honestly, it comes to photo. Especially the way people can rush to take photo with other people and whatever. Yeah, I can choose. When I go attend a meeting, I go and whatsoever it is. So I am looking for, before I ask you, can I have a photo with you? It means that thereafter, we are going to build a strong link. Nowadays on social media or either whatever we do, because of the social media issue now, then with a small photo opportunity, we run in there. Oh, this person or whatsoever. Sometimes we even forget about what we have come to do. Yes. All right, welcome to the show. This is a program, Print News Review. Mr. Fidel Budy will be here as guest analyst of the show. But first of all, we're going to start the show this evening with some politics of the United Kingdom. I just want you to see this, because integrity is so important. I'm talking about maybe only in the Western world, though. Integrity is so important to the people here, to the extent that even the Prime Minister will stand there and say, a blunder. The mistakes are made are huge. I'm sorry, I won't be able to continue with the work. Yes, I am talking about somebody who was elected to serve the people. That individual will stand and tell the people, the same people that elected her, the same people that elected him, and tell the people and say, well, you know why? I'm sorry, I can't able to continue with this thing. Let's go straight to our guest that is trying to come on now, Mr. Budy. And then we'll start the show with the British politics first of all. The resignation of Theresa May today, the British Prime Minister. Well, a timetable. She said a timetable that she's going to leave, and the reason she's leaving, she gave the reason as well. So I will listen to you just about 6 minutes. You'll hear that one, and then there's a revelation. I don't know whether any of you have seen this revelation. There's a revelation. There's a guy. It sounds like he's a Nigerian anyway. I don't know whether he's in Liberia or he's in Nigeria or he's in Aberystwyth. I don't know. But that guy gave a revelation that, okay, I'm not going to read the revelation. I'll play it to I'll replay it so you can hear it. But the people of God, those of you now that are actually in the church, yeah, those of you are eating it, are eating our Bible, are baking your man. You're listening to the mayor. Because the message is for all of us, although the man is saying the message direct, he said from God to him and direct to the president and the government of Liberia. But that message is for all of us. Let me let you know now. Let me welcome our guests. It's been a little while now. Yeah. The British people sometimes when they say little, that's more thing, that's more distance. Fidel, welcome. How are you doing, Chief?
I'm doing good, Max. It's nice to see you. Welcome back from Liberia. Hopefully, you give us all the good news from Liberia, or not so good news.
Well, yeah, good news. Obviously, Liberia full of good news. You wake up in the morning, say, if you really want good news, you have your breakfast before even you put in a radio on or you go on the internet. But however, it's great. Yeah, it was great to be home, and not only being home, but at least to interact with Liberians across the broad spectrum of the society. Some of them, we talked behind the camera, and some of them we talk on camera. And but those normally that don't agree to talk on camera, when you talk to them and they give you some words, sometimes you forget even your door key or the car door key, whether it's the right place you're going. So that's how it is right now. And as I can speak to you, I think, when I stopped on Sunday evening before I left, Sunday afternoon, to the petrol station, I stopped to buy gasoline, and then I think the price was $595 for a gallon. And I asked the guy, I said, brother, in the next couple of days, are you guys coming down small, sir? And thing, because the thing is going too high. And the man said, I mean, what are you talking about? You want to pray God say in the next 1 week, we will not reach $700. I say, my man, what kind of thing you talking so? He said, yeah, well, my man, the liberty, the way liberty wasting in the market, we don't even know where liberty coming from. So that liberty, the one that's supporting the whole thing here. Because the rate just going up, going up. So I got a bit of news from there that liberty is on the market. Now, I didn't even know that. Only the guy told me now, say, don't make the liberty plenty on the market. So that's it, big brother. It's not really easy. But all we need to do is, if you used to send maybe $100 every month, this time you got to send $200 either. So, but Fidel, it's great. It's great to see you. I mean, great. And how's everything? And how is the preparation? I think that this year now, right? Before the end of the year, right?
Well, I actually the preparation is going quite well. We're in the final stages. I'm done. I'm just waiting for the signal from my supervisors and the university that they're ready for me to submit. I've actually started a new job as well in Sheffield, so I'm actually back in Sheffield now.
Congratulations.
So I'm speaking to you from Sheffield tonight. Thank you very much, Max.
Wow, congratulations, man. Yeah, just to let our people know, this is a Liberian brother. Such a news, you can't just keep it for long, man. We got to start celebrating before the time, For some of you that just come on the platform, Fidel, I don't know how to qualify it, how to quantify it, but to just let you know that he just, while he's talking about submitting the papers and things, he's about to be conferred his doctorate degree, which of course is a good news for Mama Liberia. Yes, I would say so. Mama Liberia. I will not say good news for him and his family alone, or some of us as a close friends and brothers, but it's good news, very, very good news for Mama Liberia, because it's a long way, especially to reach to that position. Thank you so much in advance, and we thank God for you and your family as well. Whoever, all of those that supported you throughout, especially, yeah, the madam would say thank you so much for this, and we can't wait to finally join you or to continue in celebration, especially on that wonderful day. Thank you, congratulations again, brother. You don't proud for us. Yeah. All right. So I want us to start off first of all, because sometimes it's good to learn from each other. I don't know how much time you're going to give us tonight, but it's good to learn from each other. And learning from each other means a whole lot, and it can also help people. This is why sometimes when you go in the business city, like you go to London, you go to Manchester, you go to Liverpool, you see tourists, you see people. I mean, these tourists, they get taking pictures of buildings, they get taking pictures of structures and things. These people are not taking these pictures for nothing. These Chinese, these Japanese, these guys from the Arab states and things, they are not taking it for nothing. They're taking it when you go, they can copy and say, I want the same building here, or we want to modify this building and do it like this and put it together. So learning is it comes from all angles and things. So I'm saying that to say, even in leadership, in terms of leadership as well, we have to learn from one another. Sometimes your friend will make a clumsy mistake and they say, well, if they are brave enough and to say, well, they put their integrity first, they will say, yeah, they mistake, they want I really, really mess up. Let me tell my people that I mess up also. And they will voice out and say, I mess up. If they can't make it to continue, they will say, I can continue. Exactly like what happened today in the United Kingdom. Our prime minister here, I'll say our prime minister because this is my second country, proud to say that. Fidel and I, we're here. And so she finally broke down and said, well, you know why? Yvette Sivas is saying congratulations to you, Fidel. Great. Thank you, Yvette. Okay. She set a date today that she's going to leave. And the reason she says she's going to leave, I want you to listen to it very, very carefully, very Liberians. Because it's not only for her, for you, for me, those of us that are thinking about maybe we want to get in that position tomorrow. Reason that you have to be careful how you deal with your people. But let's go straight to her. And then from there, we'll come back and listen to the revelation. And then from there, we get small analysis from of Fidel on this particular subject. Let me see what I can get Madam Theresa May ready, so you can also see her. Those of you that are watching, let me get a camera. Good. Prime Minister Theresa May, so you can see her good. I think she's just about to walk to the podium there. So let me see if I can get the camera there.
Ever since I first stepped through the door behind me as Prime Minister, I have striven to make the United Kingdom a country that works not just for a privileged few, but for everyone, and to honour the result of the EU referendum. Back in 2016, we gave the British people a choice. Against all predictions, the British people voted to leave the European Union. I feel as certain today as I did 3 years ago that in a democracy, if you give people a choice, you have a duty to implement what they decide. I have done my best to do that. I negotiated the terms of our exit and a new relationship with our closest neighbours that protects jobs, our security and our union. I have done everything I can to convince MPs to back that deal. Sadly, I have not been able to do so. I tried 3 times. I believe it was right to persevere, even when the odds against success seemed high. But it is now clear to me that it is in the best interests of the country for a new Prime Minister to lead that effort. So I am today announcing that I will resign as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party on Friday the 7th of June, so that a successor can be chosen. I've agreed with the party chairman and with the chairman of the 1922 committee that the process for electing a new leader should begin in the following week. I have kept Her Majesty the Queen fully informed of my intentions, and I will continue to serve as her Prime Minister until the process has concluded. It is and will always remain a matter of deep regret to me that I have not been able to deliver Brexit. It will be for my successor to seek a way forward that honours the result of the referendum. To succeed, he or she will have to find consensus in Parliament where I have not. Such a consensus can only be reached if those on all sides of the debate are willing to compromise. For many years, the great humanitarian Sir Nicholas Winton, who saved the lives of hundreds of children by arranging their evacuation from Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia through the Kinder transport, was my constituent in Maidenhead. At another time of political controversy, a few years before his death, he took me to one side at a local event and gave me a piece of advice. He said, "Never forget that compromise is not a dirty word. Life depends on compromise." He was right. As we strive to find the compromises we need in our politics, whether to deliver Brexit or to restore devolved government in Northern Ireland, we must remember what brought us here. Because the referendum was not just a call to leave the EU, but for profound change in our country. A call to make the United Kingdom a country that truly works for everyone. I'm proud of the progress we have made over the last 3 years. We have completed the work that David Cameron and George Osborne started. The deficit is almost eliminated. Our national debt is falling and we are bringing an end to austerity. My focus has been on ensuring that the good jobs of the future will be created in communities across the whole country, not just in London and the South East, through our modern industrial strategy. We have helped more people than ever enjoy the security of a job. We are building more homes and helping first-time buyers onto the housing ladder, so young people can enjoy the opportunities their parents did. And we are protecting the environment, eliminating plastic waste, tackling climate change, and improving air quality. This is what a decent, moderate, and patriotic Conservative government on the common ground of British politics can achieve, even as we tackle the biggest peacetime challenge any government has faced. I know that the Conservative Party can renew itself in the years ahead. that we can deliver Brexit and serve the British people with policies inspired by our values. Security, freedom and opportunity. Those values have guided me throughout my career. But the unique privilege of this office is to use this platform to give a voice to the voiceless, to fight the burning injustices that still scar our society. That is why I put proper funding for mental health at the heart of our NHS long-term plan. It's why I'm ending the postcode lottery for survivors of domestic abuse. It is why the race disparity audit and gender pay reporting are shining a light on inequality, so it has nowhere to hide. And it is why I set up the independent public inquiry into the tragedy at Grenfell Tower, to search for the truth, so nothing like it can ever happen again, and so the people who lost their lives that night are never forgotten. Because this country is a union, not just a family of 4 nations, but a union of people, all of us. Whatever our background, the colour of our skin, or who we love, we stand together, and together we have a great future. Our politics may be under strain, but there is so much that is good about this country, so much to be proud of, so much to be optimistic about. I will shortly leave the job that it has been the honour of my life to hold. The second female Prime Minister, but certainly not the last. I do so with no ill will, but with enormous and enduring gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
Wow. All right, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and of the very, very emotional. Fidel, before we move forward, is there anything that we can borrow from here? Let's put it in the context of African politics, that you can share with us and say, look, guys, this is it. You're listening to her, this is a Prime Minister. I mean, somebody that was still enjoying the position and coming out to say the fact. I say, yes. You asked me, you gave me a piece of job to do. I didn't do it. I was doing it, but it's like I wasn't doing it properly. Fidel, what can we borrow from this woman as Africans, especially our leaders, if you are talking to them right now? What can you borrow from them, from her?
I don't think there's much that leaders in Liberia can borrow from Prime Minister Theresa May.
Well, now I
I
just
think
say,
first,
I just brought in a broader
no,
concept as
first,
Africa
I don't
as a
think,
whole.
no, yeah, I don't think many African leaders can borrow anything from Theresa May, because Theresa May, look, I'm not a sympathizer of the Conservative Party. I subscribe to leftist ideologies, which means that I'm more sympathetic towards the Labour Party than I am to the Conservatives. Having said that, I have been for a long time an advocate of women empowerment, and I believe that the Conservative Party has undermined her leadership to a point that her emotions today were more about the fact that she wasn't given the opportunity to achieve what she could achieve with the support of her party, and that she was going to leave office with that stain on her record. Look, the point I'm trying to make when I say that Liberian leaders or African leaders can't borrow anything, it's not that they're not able to. It's they do not have the capacity to actually do it. These guys are programmed to be corrupt. They're programmed to live in a bubble. They're programmed to see the suffering of their people and turn a blind eye to it. They're programmed to steal even when there's nothing much to steal. These guys are programmed to do evil, and that's why I believe that our leaders, in most parts of the continent, not all of it, there are parts of the continent where we have good leaders, but our leaders, especially for me, I like to keep the focus on Liberia, and I think our leaders in Liberia don't have the capacity to have the empathy that Theresa May has. Look, some people, myself included, would say that when she was Home Secretary, she was very harsh. She did a lot of things, implemented a lot of policies that we wouldn't agree with, especially those of us with migrant backgrounds. But having said that, I think her leadership of the country, personally, I think was good. I think, I was disappointed when she kept losing vote after vote after vote, because I felt that she made a promise and she was willing to live up to that promise. Even, look, Max, you have to understand the dynamics of the situation.
Yeah.
It's like asking Joseph Boakai, Ambassador Joseph Boakai, to lead a CDC government. He does not agree with CDC policies. He didn't vote for the CDC. He campaigned against the CDC, but then we said, you will be president of the CDC-led government. So we're going to surround you with people who are from the CDC. You have to listen to their policy ideas, and you have to work in the direction that they want you to work, even though you don't believe in any of these things. It's difficult. She voted, she ran a campaign against Brexit. She wanted us to stay in the European Union, as the United Kingdom. And then to ask someone of her background to come down and lead us into the Brexit negotiation was always going to be difficult, because everything that she was going to be aiming for will be a closer relationship with the EU after the UK leaves, because she always wanted to keep that relationship. So look, it is news, and I felt, emotional myself, at the end when she was being emotional, because she showed to the the British people in the world that there is something different about British politics. The parliamentary politics that we witness on a daily basis in the UK is different to the democratic policy. The Republican policies, governments that we see, and politics that we see in places like the United States, where there is almost like a constitutional crisis at the moment, or in Liberia, where we do not have a legislature. We have a bunch of individuals that we pay a lot of money to do nothing. We have a judiciary that is being manipulated by the executive branch. The judiciary is supposed to be an co-equal branch of government. It's being manipulated by one branch, and then the legislature is sitting there and doing nothing. So, I think her stance today and the things that she said gives a lot of food, should give a lot of food for thought to leaders across the world, across Africa, to see what leadership is all about, especially in a democracy. Because I think the parliamentary system that the UK enjoys makes it more of a democracy compared to the United States or to Liberia or to countries across the continent of Africa.
Right. A great analysis there from Fidel. Of course, another greetings here and congratulations, congratulatory treat here from Lusu Fatu Yama. Say congratulations, Fidel. I'm watching the show. Thank you for the congratulations message as well. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see whether we can go. What we're going to do is, like we said, we don't know how much. I think Fidel, I don't know, maybe like 1 hour he got for us. But let's see whether we can take few stories. We will do that. We'll play that almost at the end, and we can hear from Fidel as well. With respect to the to his. I don't know whether he will be able to interpret the message that the brother says is coming from God to us in Liberia. But let's see. Let's take some of the headlines. We're going to do on the 3 newspaper tonight: the bush chicken, the news public trust, and of course the front page Africa. But let's start off with the bush chicken first. It says here, former President Salif says son was illegally charged for printing new money. Okay. What we're going to do, as usual, we'll do the headlines, and then our guest analyst with decide as to which story he wants us to expand on, and then we take it from there. But let's start it from here, from the bush chicken. It says here, former President Salif says son was illegally charged for printing new banknotes. That's the interview that was held by Al Jazeera, which we actually replayed yesterday on our show here as well. But the president saying illegally his son was charged. So We don't know where is the case going. Editorial: if President Weah acts to save the state, there will be no need for protest. Okay, that is the editorial there of the front page Africa. They are saying that if President Weah acts to save the state, there will be no protests, no need for protests. Okay, so I think in a way they are advising President Weah actually. That editorial, they advising President Weah to take maybe every aspect of negotiation and make better use of it. All right, this one say NEC releases provisional listings of candidates for Mosuraidu by-elections. NEC releases provisional listings for Mosuraidu candidates, listing of candidates for Mosuraidu's by-elections. Okay, that's out there. I think yesterday, a couple of days ago, I posted, I started asking the NEC if they would do background check this time around, because some of the some people are actually flagging out some individuals that they have criminal records behind them. But then I think I had a backlash on those letters. I said, well, I mean, if I'm asking that question, why I didn't ask the question during the 2017 election? So that's it. All right, let's go this. Liberian journalist named on Global Agricultural Journalist Networks Committee. K, and this one C, the final one says, Sano Senator Milton Tiaji calls for scrutiny of mining licenses. I think it's something that actually worth looking into by the legislature as well, because one thing I got up, Fidel, is that the news I gather is that while we are sitting in the city, many foreigners are in our bushes. They are mining. Majority of these people come from somewhere Burkina Faso, somewhere Africa, somewhere, you know, all the nearby countries and things. They are in the bushes and just mining, just everything they are mining. And so I don't know whether even the license issue that is Milton Cheji is talking about, whether will really resolve the issue. But well, for the bush chicken, Fidel, these are stories that are trending in it. I don't know whether you have any interest in one of them.
Well, I think for me, the biggest one there for me is the editorial that talks about the June 7 protests that are supposed to be happening in Liberia. I have moved my position on that a little bit. Initially, I was in support of the protest, but then now I'm not too sure that I am. And I think the point that the editor is making is that, look, and I asked this question last week to some of my friends, and like, you know, who's really running Liberia right now? Because you hardly hear from the president, not directly or indirectly. The president has his press secretary. So if the president doesn't want to speak directly to the Liberian people, he should speak through his press secretary. So the president should keep the Liberian people abreast of what's going on in our country. People are worried. We're hearing conflicting news all the time. International partners are isolating Liberia as we speak. You know, the economy is failing, like you suggested, with the petrol prices. You know, nobody knows who's running the country, and the president needs to instill some confidence. And that's why I think when the editors say, look, if the president, look, one of the things that these guys want to march in Liberia about is the fact that they believe that individuals within the government are being immunized by the office of the president. So guys like Samuel Tuet, people like Kodje, people like Nathaniel McGill, these guys are seen by some Liberians as being destructive to our economy, destructive to our social structure, destructive to our political system. And the president is not doing anything to get these guys out of the way, or even to chastise them in any way, shape, or form. And people are rightly, you know, look, Max, you and I over, you know, I think like 2 months ago read the Kroll report that clearly indicted the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. You know, Samuel Tuer was indicted in that report. The report said, you know, he disregarded standard protocols. Look, Max, the thing is, I spent time thinking, and one of the things I've been thinking about recently is that, look, Liberia operates an accounting system that wasn't created by Liberians. We've adopted an accounting system. So the accounting system that we have in Liberia is from the US, right? So if you have a company from the US coming to you and telling you you did this thing wrong, that means you did it wrong because they created the system. They know what's right and what's wrong in the system. It's not like like somebody speaking Pele to you, for example. If somebody speaks Pele, Pele is a Liberian language. We got Pele. So American man can't tell you, oh, you're speaking Pele the wrong way. You tell you, no, I'm not true. A Pele man, you can't tell me I'm speaking it the wrong way. Similarly, these people created the systems that we're using. So for us to now say, oh no, even though they said that we've mismanaged things within that system, we're not going to do anything about it. And then the president said he wanted to get an international partner to investigate because he wanted it to be a trustworthy investigation. So Kroll did the investigation with all of their international reputation, presented the findings, and he said, okay, no, we don't want the other finding, we got to go to the GAC. Well, why didn't you go to the GAC in the first place? Why did you? Because the whole point of not going to the GAC is because you wanted a report that was going to be unbiased, that everyone would say, we accept the outcome of this report because it was done by a foreigner. It wasn't done by a Liberian. Any Liberian within the government would be corrupt in some ways or form, shape or form, which was the right thing to do. Now that you've had the report since March, you haven't done anything. You said 2 weeks for GAC to do a report. We're in May. That's almost 2 months later. You get the report, and then the report's been out for almost 2 weeks. You haven't done anything. So it's like people are angry because the president is so inactive. You cannot lead a country. You've been fighting for this thing since, people can say nothing. Woo. You finally get it. Show us what you can do. And then we can't hear nothing from you. As the late Representative Tamapoli would say, I am not a bobo. Is the president a bobo? It's the question we need to be asking because we cannot hear from our president. Our president is supposed to be the one in front of the cameras, behind the radio microphones, telling the Liberian people, look, this is what is wrong with our economy. This is why our social structures are not working. This is why our politics is so toxic. These are the things that I'm doing to fix them. That's what he should be doing. Every week, he should be giving an update to the Liberian people. Now, the reason I said that, I've kind of shifted a little bit from the guys in the march is, look, these guys were presented with an opportunity to list their grievances in that meeting that they had with the leadership of the Liberian government. And they chose not to do that.
Yeah, that was on unification.
Yeah. They chose on the 14th of May, I think it was, they had the opportunity to present. Look, Max, I say to friends here that as horrible as this might be, I am worried about the June 6th protest in Liberia because there will be some disgruntled individuals from the party that supports the president who will see a clear constitutional act of protesting against your government. That's a constitutional act. Every Liberian has a right to protest. I believe that individuals loyal to the president might want to go out and do some kind of counter protest, undermine what's going on, or even incite violence so that the protesters can be blamed for that thing. And unfortunately, our security forces don't have the intellectual ability, and I can say that anytime, anywhere, they don't have the intellectual ability and capacity to use limited force. Those guys will go out there, a bunch of ex-rebels, they will go out there and they will use so much force on people that we might have a situation that might resemble 1979 all over again. That is my worry as a person. Because at the end of the day, people are angry, Max. People in Liberia are angry on both sides. Those who think that the president is doing a wonderful job and he's being unfairly criticized by the protesters will go out there with their anger. The protesters themselves will go out there with their anger. And what will happen is you have a clash of angers. And usually they say, when two wrongs don't make a right. And we could be headed for a very. That's why I hope that on Unification Day they would have presented their grievances to the president. Say, look, if you can meet some of the requests that we're making, we will avert the protest on the 7th of June. However, if you do nothing about the things we've asked you to do, we will go ahead. That way, you put more pressure on the president. And then some of us will be like, yes, you guys are in this thing for the right reasons. Because the opportunity was there on Unification Day to say, look, here's our list of grievances, deal with them, there will be no protest. You don't have to go into the street to present your grievances. Our international partners organize the meeting. You should go to the meeting with your grievances, present them, give an ultimatum to the government, do these things by this day, or else we continue the protest. And that's why I'm a bit concerned about their motives as well. And that's why my support for the march has, I've just pulled back a little bit, because now it doesn't look too clear that these guys are in it for the right reasons.
Okay, so it's now diluted. Okay. All right. Thanks. Let's move on because of time. News Public Trust. There's a really, really disturbing story here that let me just capture this, the headlines, and then I think we have to expand on that story. But let's capture this. First of all, this is at the top of the newspaper here. Bapulu County consumed by sex videos of locals and sexual exploitation. Bapulu County consumed by sex videos of locals and sexual exploitation. This story is not it's not a good story at all. I think we have to link it with this thing I was talking about, the license of where the senator calling for license of all minors or so, and I was talking about how foreigners are mining our goals and diamonds in the forest and thing. It's linked to it. But let me just go with the headlines, and I'll come back hopefully on it. 10th Sacred Code Court opens May term. Judge vows to uphold rule of law. Okay, then let's go down a little bit. Liberia's Interreligious Council cries out against misuse of public funds. Liberia's Interreligious Council cries out against misuse of public funds. And this one says, EU report says Liberia is still fragile, though civil war ended 15 years ago. EU report says Liberia is still fragile, though civil war ended 15 years ago. And let's see, finally, stop shielding Tue, Petrie, and others from prosecution. That's the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas are warning the president. Stop shielding Tue, Petrie, and others from prosecution. That's a warning there from the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas. Okay, these are the stories that are actually trending. But Fidel, let me see, because of him on interest, let me see whether we can expand on this story. Perhaps so we can share with others, and then we can hear from you as well. Your analysis on the, you can get tie in with others, other headlines that we just read. But this is the News Public Trust, and this is the story now. Let me bring it out today, the 24th. Yes, a report from the Western Liberian County of Bapulu says sex video, sexual exploitation, and other incidents of sexual abuse have become the order of the day in that area. Now, if they say order of the day, that means it is happening every day. According to a report, illegal Ghanaian gold miners in Bokomo District, Bapulu County, are involved in video recording young women and girls while having sex with them. The report said after video recording sexual activities between the illegal Ghanaian minors and women, along with girls under 18, shared the sexual video recordings on social media and among citizens in the country. The sex video is being widely circulated in that county, something some say is disgracing to entire womanhood of women and girls. In May last year, in the southeastern Liberia, there were similar reports of illegal Ghanaian minors video recording women and girls while having sex with them. The illegal Ghanaian minors did the same in Grand Cru, Sano, River G, and River Seas counties, now in Bapulu County, with some attitude of disgracing womanhood. Against this background, the Gender-Based Violence Task Force, Rural Women Association of Liberia, in collaboration with Gender Ministry, on May 16, 2019, petitioned authorities of Bapulu County on several issues confronting women and girls in the area. Reading petition on behalf of the group, Precious A. Cox from the Youth Accountability Forum of Bapulu City, Bapulu County, petitioned the superintendents and county authorities last Thursday on the high rate of sexual violence between being committed by local and foreign nationals, especially Ghanaians, in mining areas, on the rapid increase of girls dropping out of school in Bokomo district. Madam Cox explained that it is their concern that young women and girls being greatly affected with mining activities since 2018 Bokomo district, Bapulu County. According to the women, those practices are violating the education, health, and social aspects of women and human rights, adding the illegal Ghanaians minors are also affecting the growth and development of young people in the county. Okay. We're going to stop there a little while. Sorry for that break in transmission. Call was just coming in. Fidel, disturbing news, buddy.
Well, it is disturbing news, and it's unfortunate that we have a government that doesn't have control over the country. Because when we elect a government, and look, even in countries like the UK, there are communities where you speak to individuals and they say, oh, if you call the police will not arrive there on time, and because they know those communities are dangerous communities because of the rates of crime. Having said that, if you look at Liberia and you look at the investment that we have in our national security apparatus, we don't have enough investment in the police. We don't pay our police officers well, and as a result, it doesn't encourage people to join the police force. We need more police in Liberia because these are the incidences that should have been reported to the local police. Those individuals should have been called in, because having a sexual relationship with anybody under the age of 18 in Liberia is now illegal. So when President Sirleaf became president, I think that was the first time we actually had that age limit applied. So it's now illegal, and these guys are breaking the law, not on one but two fronts. One, they're mining in our country illegally, but two, they're now exploiting young women. Well, technically it's three fronts, because the third front is secretly videotaping someone without their consent. That's a crime. That is called revenge porn, for example. And so on three fronts, these guys are actually destroying our social structure. And it is obviously, look, Max, the reason why you and I pay taxes is so that the government can protect us. The reason we pay taxes is for our government to provide services for us. The reason we pay taxes is for our government to implement social policies that will help us gain access to better social mobility. Now, people pay taxes in Liberia and they don't get any of those things, especially in rural spaces, because these people pay taxes in the form of the government giving huge swathes of their land in concessions to companies that pay thousands or millions of dollars into the coffers of the government. And most of that money, 80%, 85% of that money is being spent on a bunch of nonsense, paying members. And I was reading the other day, I think on Wednesday, because I was thinking about writing something about, because it's one of the things that really annoys me about our country, the fact that members of our legislature make so much money. So I thought, let me compare it with a country that is just similar to us. Sierra Leone is just across the border. Sierra Leone has similar history to us. We've both just come out of long years of civil war. And from my reading of the parliament in Sierra Leone, I don't think they even have a Senate. They have the House of Parliament. So they only have like a House of Representatives, right? And these guys make $1,500 a month. That's across the border in Sierra Leone. Members of Parliament in Sierra Leone make $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
Compare that to the alleged 14,000 that our representatives make. On top of that, it's fair to say, okay, they get 20,000 a year for, I think, housing allowance. They get, I think, 5,000 a year for health, and then I think they get 13,000 a year for car allowance. That is still not more than 40,000 a year that they get on top of their salary that they normally receive. Not more than 40,000 a year. If you put 14,000 times 12, you're talking about what, 140, 168 million, 68,000. That's almost 4 times what these guys get in Sierra Leone, just across the border. And the Sierra Leone economy is doing better than ours. They've got more people in their country than ours. I think there's like 7 million people in Sierra Leone compared to 4.5 million in Liberia. So the government doesn't have control over the country. And that is sad, because those people, those women, young women, their families, their friends, their colleagues, I'm sure they voted for this government. They had hope that by voting for this government, they will finally get to eat a piece of the pie. They will finally get better education in their communities. They will finally get opportunities to work. They will finally get the wealth, as even though it's not a lot of wealth, but the limited that we have, spread across the country in an even manner so that everybody gets a piece. But as things stand, their lives are in limbo. They left to the wolves in these illegal miners to do with them whatever they wish. And that is wrong in a country like Liberia. That should not happen. Every time you speak with people, Max, and you tell them, oh, there's 4.5 million people in Liberia, they're like, really? Because most countries have at least 6 million people. Especially the countries the size of Liberia. Most countries the size of Liberia have 6 million or above. Sierra Leone has about 7 million people. So you're thinking, we can't even, and we have so much, Liberians talk about this all of the time, and some of us talk about it without evidence to back it up. Oh, we have so much resources. We do have so much resources. Liberia has 40% of West Africa forest. Rainforest in West Africa, 40% of the rainforest for the entire West Africa is in Liberia alone.
Huge.
The Norwegian government pays Liberia, well, used to pay, I'm not sure if they're still paying, they used to pay Liberia $10 million a year to reserve some of our forests, just so that the forest can be used to absorb some of the greenhouse gases to combat climate change. So we get 10 million a year from the Norwegian government, money that could be used to help promote agriculture. Look, Max, 10 million is not a lot of money, but if you focus $10 million on 3 counties in Liberia, and if it is managed well, when I say managed well, you buy cheap equipment, from places like India and China. You engage with these countries to come and train your people on how to grow rice, how to grow cassava. You can go to Nigeria and buy gari making machine so that people don't have to grate the gari with their hand. So they got machine to grate the granite gari for you so that you can produce it on an industrial. Those things don't cost that much money. And this 10 million is coming every year. So even if the money is not enough for this year, next year we'll buy the things that we didn't buy this year.
That's it.
And that, look, Max, for people who means business, that's how you manage money. Look, since we ain't got enough revenue coming in, certain monies we get from donors, we'll put it to certain things that are very much a priority. We need food in our country. Max, if we produce more food, the US rate, it doesn't matter how much liberty in the market, it won't be as high as it because people won't be running behind US. Because Lebanese people, business people are running behind US because they need US to go buy rice. They need US to import chicken. They need US to bring eggs into the country. They need US to bring cooking oil. So if we start to produce those things locally, it reduces the demand for US dollars. And then it helps us manage the economy. And I was reading a few weeks ago, they're thinking about printing new money to try and meet it. That's just another way to go and steal more money from the Liberian people. Go order 10 billion again, and then only 5 billion reach to the country. We ain't even know what the other one go.
Nonsense.
We jump up. So they're trying to sell. The president is trying to say to us that his idea of putting 25 million into the economy to mop up the excess liquidity in the Liberian dollars did not work. That's what he's trying to say without standing in front of the Liberian people and saying it. Because if you say, we need to go change the money to fight against the excess liberty, that means the 25 million now when Liberian people can say it going breeze. That ain't do nothing. And he cannot come, and that's the thing, the president cannot come out. We don't know what's going on in our country right now. The president is supposed to address his people on a regular basis. Tell the people that's why you're the chief executive of the republic. You need to tell us what is going on with our country. Come out. It doesn't matter how bad it is. You come out and tell the people, my people, this is how bad things are. This is what we're doing to fix it. This is the outcome we hope to get. And then some of us will say, okay, Mr. President, we can offer our services to help you get to where you need to go. But nobody knows what the problem is. Nobody knows what you're doing to fix the problem and what outcome you hope to get. All we hear is a bunch of nonsense from officials of government, come up with stupid policy ideas that does not work. You can print liberty, you can change the Liberian currency every 2 years. It wouldn't change the fact that the liberty is useless. It wouldn't change that fact. You need to produce more things locally to back up your currency. It's simple. It doesn't matter how many times we change the money. We have to produce things locally that will back up that currency so that when people come to buy rice from Liberia to take it to Ivory Coast, they have to change to their US to Liberty. That way they bring more US into the country. That's how you back up your currency. Most of us aren't economists, but it's simple logic. You read and you can understand it. So how come these guys who have worked for development banks are coming up with silly policies to say, let's do this? So look, Max, it's a horrible situation. It shouldn't be happening in Liberia. This government should have a grip of the country. But unfortunately, these guys are more concerned about enriching themselves. So they're leaving the ordinary people to fend for themselves against predators who come in illegally mining and then exploiting our young people. And I hope that the government, even though I don't believe that they will, but I hope that they can do something about it because this is a very, very difficult situation. It's horrible for those young people and for their families and for their communities.
All right, that's Fidel Budy as guest analyst on the Brain News Review. He's here, I think, on Monday and Fridays, just about this time. We're just about to do the last paper, which is the Front Page Africa, and from there, like I promised you, we're listening to this revelation. It's a message. The reason I'm playing this revelation on my platform here, on our platform here, is that he made mention there that if he could see the president, or the people around the president could allow him to see the president, he wanted to meet the president to deliver this message. Well, because of bureaucracy also, he thought it wise to just do this video and share it around. So we found it expedient. So long he attached it like that, we will share it here, and hopefully the president and the government officials will be able to hear it. And those of you that are also praying for Liberia, endlessly, you can also maybe join him and everyone to pray for Liberia. But let's go quickly now to Front Page Africa. Let's start off with the headlines here. This one sees here. IMO Representative Isaac Jackson denied diplomatic passports. Okay, again, I think he's back home. This is the fellow representing Liberia here in London. But I don't know what happened. It was recalled. But what we're hearing is that the government already found a replacement or so, but then he wants a diplomatic passport because the replacement hasn't come yet. And then the news is saying now that Isaac Jackson denied diplomatic passport. So meaning he have to be part of the propo now. All right, let's go quickly to this. Senate gives Firestone Liberia exclusive right for production. Senate gives Firestone Liberia exclusive right for production. And this one say US 34 million golden safeguard agreement ratified. I think that's another project agreement or so, investment agreement. But US 24 million golden safeguard agreement ratified. So really something wasn't right, and the members of the House here, you can see some of them putting their hands up, it's like they were voting also. And this one say EJS opens up. He was unjustifiably illegally charged. Ex-president, we're talking about the son. So we can see the ex-president and the son here. And this photograph, at the time I think he was arrested. So the president is saying he was unjustifiably illegally charged. Ex-president, this is the only interview I've seen the president came out to actually speak out openly now since the son was arrested. So this is the throwback there to the president of the Republic of Liberia and the government. You arrested his son illegally, so you must release him. Fidel, these are the stories that are trending in the Front Page Africa. Where you want to go? Where you want to take us?
No, the thing is, to be honest, there's none that really catches my eye. Obviously, the situation with Isaac Jackson is a horrible one. It points to the fact that this government's intention is only to enrich people who support the government. So you have someone who is competent to continue in his role at the IMO, but because the president wants to put someone in to come and earn that money, they've undermined him and the courts that are supposed to be there to support and defend, because the court, you watch what's going on in the US, for example, and how the Democrats are trying to get things out of President Trump. And the court is supposed to be a remedy space for the common people, the ordinary man against the big. That's the only place they're supposed to be on equal ground. If you go against the government outside of the court, the government can conquer your head. But when you guys enter the court of law, that's where you guys are equal, because the court is there to pass judgment in a fair manner so that everybody is treated fairly, irrespective of what type. And he wasn't protected. In terms of President Sir leaving, I tried to skip talking about her when you read in the bush chicken, because they put in the real life, right? Oh my God, traffic, honestly, because at the end of the day, there is no way you can read the Kroll report and tell me that the leadership at the central bank prior to President Weah taking over didn't have any responsibility. My only disappointment, and you and I had a lengthy discussion about this back in March, was the fact that it's being done in a biased manner. The Crow report indicted the previous administration at the central bank. It also indicted the current administration at the central bank and the finance and development planning. So you cannot arrest one group and then leave the other group then to be passing around enjoying. That for me is the devil in the detail, because the report indicted a lot of people, but you only go after those who are of the former government. So for the president, look, she made her own bed. If what we observe in Liberia and what we believe to be true happened, she contributed to electing George Weah. Significant. I wrote a piece, back in the bush sticking many months ago, talking about how she did it. And look, and that's why she has to now, lie in her own bed. She made the bed and she has to lie in it, because at the end of the day, she is one of the individuals who contributed to Liberian people being in this particular situation that we're in now. She had the opportunity to support her vice president, who would have been a better person for Liberia. She decided not to because of personal reasons, and now she wants to point fingers at the same devil that she dressed. So I don't, honestly, don't listen to the woman. She is the reason. One of the reasons I don't listen to President Sirleaf anymore is because she epitomizes the notion that a lot of people who are at the lower scale of our community see as them means us. Because of all of the horrible things this woman has done, she's walking around free. She passing around here, they making her ambassador for WHO. She going to observe elections. No, you thinking, okay, this woman was one of the people that said burn down the executive mansion and we'll rebuild it in whatever, knowing fully well that ordinary and innocent Liberians would die in the process. Not only that, she funded, she took money, she gave it to Charles Taylor then King, they kill people. Then they said, look, Max, Charles Taylor was jailed for aiding and abetting. Now the same thing Ellen Johnson did. She aided and abetted to kill Liberian people. And then she walking around Kiriba. Nobody ain't doing nothing to her. Then for her to shut her, she won't do it. She passing around talking. So honestly, personally, I don't look. I was one of those people who wanted Ellen Johnson to be president simply because I felt that look, Liberia needed a female president to give women a voice, so that we can change our culture and our society, so that things like these that are happening with these young women in Babulu will not happen, because women will be more empowered. Men will see women as human beings and not as objects that they can just misuse as they want. And I did want President Sirleaf to become president. I voted for President Sirleaf in 2011 because of those reasons. Mine were very gender biased. I wanted a woman to be president, and I felt that she would help. But she did the total opposite. The woman did so much harm to opportunities for women in Liberia than any man has done, in my opinion anyway. I might be wrong, but that's my opinion. Some of the things she did made it so difficult for Liberian people to even trust a woman with any leadership position in their country anymore. Yeah. Because this woman came in and messed up everything. And unfortunately, as it is, Max, the world that we live in, people always apply collective guilt. One woman caused trouble, all the women are not good.
Yeah.
One crime man do something, they crumple that bad people. They say, oh, Krupo no boat. We take one stupid crew man, point somewhere, they say, oh, Krupo stupid. So at the end of the day, that's the culture we live in. People just take one thing and make it a collective thing. And unfortunately, this woman has done so much bad things to this country that, you don't pray for bad things to happen to people, but sometimes you get tempted when it comes to it. The president just needs to forget about talking and just sit down some kind of corner and just mind her business. Just don't talk. We won't hear your name, your voice, or anything anymore. Just go somewhere and be there.
Yeah. Maybe she
keep
was just
popping up. Every time you think you not forget about her, then whoop, She put her hair again.
Yeah.
You know, when you think she maybe, you say, oh, what happened to Ellen? She gone? She not see God? They said, no, Ellen stay here. Where kind of Ellen did she want to go? You know, so at the end of the day, look, Max, look, it's a horrible situation. You know, that she would even have the audacity to say that Hassan was lying. The audacity to call what he said a lie on an international TV station when the truth is there in black and white. You are a former president. The world should be embarrassed to even give her a consultancy position. She shouldn't even be close to anything. This woman oversaw one of the worst health systems in the world and did nothing to improve it. And then you made her ambassador for the WHO. How does that make sense? Usually you appoint people who have done something in that field to enhance the field. To say, okay, yeah, Ellen did a lot of good job for the Liberia health system. She turned it around, so that's why we put her on the WHO ambassadors list. But what did she not do? Nothing. Our health system is one of the poorest in the world. The way she made it, she chakra even more than the way she made it. So the thing even nine, we ain't really no he no tea. So look, at the end of the day, I honestly didn't want to talk about her. I tried to avoid it, but then she came back up in the front page Africa, so I had to just rant a little bit. You know, obviously there is good news there as well with this rectifying of that concession agreement. It's not a big one, but at least it means that some people will get some employment, which is always good for our country and for our people. The other thing is the Senate renegotiating the Firestone agreement. That is just a bunch of nonsense for me, because this should have been done when Firestone first said, look, we're thinking about laying some people off. This is what they should have done. So look, my people, how can we give you guys some concessions? Because that's all Firestone was looking for. They want to make money. Their business want to make money. You help them to make money. They keep people in jobs. Some of us might not like it, but at the end of the day, this should have been done many months ago. So those people are now out of jobs. And then it's okay, we'll give Firestone, we rewrite the concession, like rectify the concession or renegotiate the concession. That's just stupid, It's like you say, oh, I want to help Max. Fire in your house, I want to help him, but you wait the house when you're burning now. Then you go waste water on the burn house. So then why are you wasting water on the house? It's burnt. You can't do it if it ain't burning. Why are you wasting water on it? That's some of the stupidity that our legislators are involved with. That, sometimes you sit and you think about it, and the only way to call it is stupidness. Because how can you guys sit there? You know what's going on. You know what Firestone wants. Just give them what they want to keep these people in jobs. These people elected you for that purpose. And look, I was reading the other day, and this is a very important thing, and I think some of us need to really take it up. A few years ago, Senegal canceled their entire Senate. So now they only got House of Representatives. They say they wanted to save money. They're saving, I think, like 11 million a year. We need to cancel either the House of Representatives. We need to cancel one of those million. They too plenty. No, honestly, because I don't understand why the senators are there. Because the representatives are the direct representatives of the people. So they represent a district. So I can understand why they're there. Like we have in the parliamentary system here in the UK, all members of parliament come from a district. So they have a constituency that they have to be accountable to. Senators, that whole county. So half of the county can hate you, you still win to be senator. So why would God just want them there eating free money? Let's cancel the Senate. It doesn't help Liberia anymore. Cancel the Senate. Just pass a law that says every decision in the House must be by 2/3 majority vote. So people say, oh, but there won't be no way to balance it. There's a way to balance it. Just say 2/3. That means if we get 2/3 of the vote, we can't pass anything in the House. It's as simple as that. Get rid of the Senate. Senegal did it. They're doing well. There's no problems in Senegal. They're doing okay. So get rid of those individuals. And then all these 76 districts, we need to sketch some of those districts, bring it down to 60 or something like that. Because some of these guys are just there doing nothing. But anyway, let's listen to the pastor, and then so that we can
Yeah,
we
just
can we
before
can
you go, you brought the Omar issue in. I'm following her on Twitter. When they appointed her, I know one of there are four actually, and she tweeted and said that, and I quote, "I am so happy to join the rest of the three to bring global health affordable to everyone." Actually, it touched me, and I retweeted with words, and I said, "Wow, I can't wait to see this happening. If one cannot transform a healthcare system in one country, but thinking about the whole world, I want to see the magic happening." That's how I retweeted, and I agree with you. And for WHO to have come and give us the kind of a slap in the face, man, it's degrading. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Fidel is here with us. Always here on Fridays, giving us analysis with respect to issues in the press. I promise you that before we leave, I'm going to show you this video. It's a revelation. This young middle-aged brother, perhaps I can say, had a revelation for us, starting with the government of the Republic of Liberia and all of us. And so the message you've got for us, I think, let's see whether we can listen to him, and if we can get anything from here. Perhaps you can also share the video with some of our government officials. Some of them I rang them this morning, and they told me, they all representative I rang this morning. I wanted to talk to him tonight. He said, "Oh, I'm in Ghana. Why in Ghana?" "Oh, man, I came for my medical attention." I said, "Oh, so JFK not working?" The man was planning to tell me, say, "Max, you tell me I should go to JFK to go die?" And I just ended it right there. I said, "Okay, Chief, sorry for asking." I mean, this is a representative asking me this question. I asked him, he telling me he gone to seek medical in Ghana, in Accra. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is a revelation. It's about 8 minutes or so. Let's see. I don't know. I think it's on mute.
I'm here to deliver a message that the Lord has placed on my spirit. I'm here to deliver a message that the Lord has placed right on my spirit through talking to one of my brother. In that process of time, the Lord has deposited a message that I should deliver it to the government of Liberia to condemn, but I'm here to speak the mind of God. I'm here to speak what the Lord has, placed in my spirit. And I'm begging everyone, I'm not a politician. I normally don't talk in people's stuff or neither the politics of any country. I only focus on what God has asked me to do, and that's what I do. But just right now, a few seconds ago, the Lord has placed a message on my heart for Liberians and the government. So, yeah. So I'm waiting for a few people to come on to be able to share what God has placed on my heart. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. So this is what God says to me. When I was sitting right now, the Lord says that I should give out this word, that Liberia is about to be the next Babylon country that is about to be taken into captivities. Why? Because Liberians' governments are taking God as a joke, mocking God in a way whereby so, as I was saying, in the name of the fooling people, in the name of they're doing the things of God. But this is what God says: Liberia is about to be disturbed once again. So I'm sending out this message for those of you that have the way to share it. Please go ahead and click the share button. If the government are not careful, this is what's going to happen. Massive death is about to enter into the palace, into the government of Liberia. I come not to stand against anyone. Once again, like I said, I'm not into any politics. I'm not into anything at all. What I do is preach my message and do what God wants me to do. But now God is saying this to the government of Liberia. God is saying this: stop mocking God. You can mock the people of Liberia, but do not mock God. God is sending out a message against the government of Liberia. Now, when the Lord spoke to me, He gave me 35 days. He gave me 35 days. If the mockery that is going on against God don't stop, we're going to see what God is about to do. This is not my word, but this is the word of God. This is not my word. That says the Lord. Straightforward to Liberia. If the government don't stop fooling themselves in the name of Christ, I'm not a politician, but when God says something, He do it. If the government of Liberia don't stop fooling themselves with the name of God, a very deep, dangerous disaster is about to rise in Liberia. Is about to rise in Liberia. And please, there are innocent souls in Liberia. There are people in Liberia. They know nothing about what you guys are doing. So this message, I'm begging whosoever on here now, this message, go ahead and share it. God's hand is against the government of Liberia. I was sitting right now speaking to one of my brother, and the Lord has brought this message direct to me. And when the Lord spoke, I just told my friend, let me talk to you later because I have to deliver this message. Once again, if you have a way to share this message, go ahead and share it. It goes to the government of Liberia. God says they can mock the people of Liberia, but they shouldn't mock our God. They shouldn't mock our God. They shouldn't mock our God in the name of having church, in the name of pretending as if they are preaching, but they are mocking God. Disaster is about to stand against Liberia if the government of Liberia don't stop. That says the Lord of hosts. That said the Lord of hosts. If they don't stop, a female is going to die. That's the first thing. Is a female, because when the Lord showed me the message, I saw 3 people that was being buried out of the government, before this year go to an end. If they don't stop that mockery, we all gonna see it. If that's truly God that has said it, and I know people like to doubt things. People like to say, oh, where this one come from again, what this one says. But I'm telling you, what I says to you is not of me. I never sit here and even offer a word about any government. But when God show it out, I have to say it. So if you want to share it right now, go ahead and share it. I'm Prophet Prince. You can go and tell whoever is that God says through me that if the government don't stop what they are doing against God's will, against the word of God, fooling people of Liberia, there are people that are hungry for the word of God. There are people that are hungry to come out of the dark, but they are fooling them, closing and covering their faces with a veil in the name of preaching to the people. It is hypocrites. It's not of God. It's hypocrites. It's not of God. And God is strongly against the government. Now, going to the president, I know maybe if I come to Liberia, whatever you guys want to do, that's your choice. But to the government of Liberia, God says, wash your hands off. Wash your hands off. You came with a good intention, but your mind has triggered in a way whereby you are falling into the place whereby God is about to disgrace you and destroy you as well. That goes to the president of Liberia. God says, wash your hands off. You are not a pastor, you are not a preacher, you are neither a bishop. I heard the voice of the Lord say that to me right now when I was sitting to my car, and I'm not blaspheming about anything. If this is a word of God, so shall it be. If everything that God has said is me who's speaking my own word, then God shouldn't back it up. But surely indeed, if God has said this and everything He has said, if they don't stop blaspheming themselves against this Holy Spirit of God, God will surely rise against the government. God will surely rise against the government. We have not come to cause divisions, any confusion, but I've come to deliver the message that God has given to me to deliver. Please, if you're Liberian, I want you to stand up and pray for the Liberians that are there, the innocent one that have nothing to do with all these things that they're doing out there. Okay, the president, I'm seeing something very dangerous, and I'm going to say the country that God has shown me. I'm going to show you the country that God has shown me, the country in which you have entered. Something wrong. Something is wrong. I'm going to tell you now. Something is wrong, because when I was speaking, God sent my spirit. Now listen to this. I was in Guinea. I was in Guinea when God showed me the message, the visions. I was in Guinea, and I saw something that transferred in Guinea to the government of Liberia. I'm saying this, if you're lying, you can forward a video to him. If he says I'm lying, then let them go to their satanic coven and let them go and confront my God. If he show me what God has said or God is saying, it is a lie. President Joshua, sir, everybody love you and they give you great respect, but God is sending this word out to you. I don't have no means to get to you. I don't have no contact to get to you. This is the only contact that I have. This is the only way that I can express what God has placed in my heart. Wash your hands off. God's heart is with you. God loves you, but you are taking the wrong path. Babylon is about to rise in Liberia. God bless every one of you, and I pray that as you guys forward this message, God is going to bless you for sharing this, and those who are innocent in Liberia are not going to fall victim of what these greedy people, these mean people, they're about to do to the nations of Liberia, the countries of Liberia, whatever they're about to do. Please, if you really love them, I want you to stand out for them and pray for Liberia, that God's hand will be upon Liberia, that our country won't be a place of a market, that people come and take things and go outside and build themselves well and come and make mockery out of the people. Government of Liberia, go to an end. People, if you guys don't stop what you're doing, says that Prophet Prince says, that says the Lord of hosts, not by my words, but what God has said through me. If the government don't stop, Liberia is going to fall on a disaster. The first sign God gave to me, a rain is going to fall. And by the falling of the rain, many things will be destroyed in Liberia. By the falling of the rain, many things is going to be destroyed in Liberia. And by the signs of this, that tells you that indeed God is about to bring disaster on the government of Liberia. Please, if a Liberian, stand out and give a prayer. I never said this, and I will never say that again until God speak to me. God bless every one of you that coming up. If you want to share this video to warn somebody else, God bless you for doing so. God bless you. And once again, please, you can pray for everyone in Liberia that God will protect them and God will save them from the hands of this evil, disastrous man that pretend as if they love the country, but they are there for their own gain. Please pray for the country, and I pray that God will bless you as you do so. God.
Fidel, what a way now to end the show, brother. I don't know where to actually take the one from, but I told you why to just share it. Let's see. But the brother is not asking anybody to go and protest. He say, wherever you are, you should get on your knee and pray for your country and pray for your people also. Let's wrap up now. Thank you for the time.
I honestly don't know how to respond to what I've just listened. I think, look, it's something that we should take seriously. I don't know this guy. I don't know why. I've never seen anything from him before, so I don't know why he would do something like this if for some reason he doesn't believe that he actually did receive a message from God. We know as Liberians, based on experience, that there are a lot of guys walking around in Liberia who give prophetic messages, and those messages are clearly not from God because nothing ever happens. You know, we can cite what Arsene Wenger was saying recently, that people would die if they go against George Weah. I don't think that other one came from God at all. But look, some of the things that he raised are valid issues that we need to be concerned with. The president of Liberia, I'm not sure which seminary he went to, how he was ordained to become a minister. I'm a Christian, and my understanding is you don't just get up one morning, open a church building, and then start to become a minister of God. It takes years of hard work. God calls you into ministry, and then he directs you in terms of how he wants you to do. The life that the president has lived doesn't exemplify that of a minister of God. The president based on unchecked information, has a lot of children outside of his marriage, has a lot of extramarital activities going on. Now, that's not something a man of God should be associated with, and some of those individuals we know personally who the president seemed to have like connections with in terms of outside of his marriage. So, like his character does not speak to someone who is a man of God. And the fact that he tried to portray himself as one gives this guy ammunition to come. Look, I would not say to anyone that they're lying. Anyone can receive a message from God because the Bible is very clear. In the last days, old people will have dreams, and the young people will see visions. So it's possible that this young man saw a vision. It's possible that God spoke to him and said, "Look, I want you to go and tell Joshua this." And we hope that the president would take heed and not just take this as a nothing, and that people will understand that. Look, I honestly, I don't know how to. I think we should take it seriously. I think, all of us. I pray for Liberia all the time, and all of us should be praying for Liberia all the time. It's horrible. It's painful. What's going on in our country, especially how blatant it is. That these guys are doing it in open broad day, and they don't even care. To shield it away from the view of the ordinary people. That is the things that and the thing about history. One of the reasons I love history is because our history tells us about situations and things that we've done in the past that did not work. One of the reasons why Master Sergeant Samuel Doe and his enlisted men overthrew the government of William Talbot is because they felt that corruption was rampant. That government was just plundering the wealth of the country while ordinary people were struggling. People in the army were making less. The police didn't make much money, and that's why they did it. And then Charles Taylor came with the same situation. Those doing this. And the point I'm trying to make is these situations arise when people feel that they've been treated so badly that nobody is listening to them when they're trying to ask for a conversation to be had. And that the only means through which that they can get their grievances heard is through violence. And you heard in one of the you read in one of the newspaper reports what the EU is saying about Liberia. 15 years on, we're still a fragile state. That's because individuals from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to George Weah have corrupted the country for personal gains and greed. And because of that, the ordinary people, the people who were struggling and who were angry and went to war because they were struggling and angry, are still struggling and angry. So it's almost like the recipe for war is there. Because people, and that's why I'm very worried about the June 7th situation, because I can see, I was speaking to a friend of mine last night, and I can see the possibility of violence. Because people are angry. I was in Liberia in December, and someone said to me, "My man, when you go on the road, don't say muya. You say muya, those who go down will be you." The same people then that used to be saying muya, muya, now when you say muya around, and they can get there. Because everybody expected to be greasing their elbows by now. They expected George Weah to pave all of the streets with gold. They expected that everybody was going to be eating chicken and meat every Sunday, and that's not happening. The president is only paving Jamaica a resort with gold, and that's where the place you can eat meat and chicken. Everywhere else, you're eating bone. And people are not happy about it, and they're right not to be happy about it. And the president needs to listen. He needs to see reason to change the course of the direction that he's taking. And listen to the people and talk to the people and tell them what is going on, because we do not know what is going on in Liberia. The president needs to talk to his people. These people elected you. Tell them, people, look, things are bad because of X, Y, and Z, and we're doing A, B, and C to resolve it. and we hope to get LMN out of it, But you can't just sit there, do nothing, say nothing, and expect people to just get with it. That's not how leadership works. You must talk to your people. And I'm asking the president, if anyone around him is listening, he needs to get up, he needs to get out, and he needs to talk to his people. Tell the people what is going on, and let them know you're doing something about it. So people ain't just sitting there getting vexed for no reason. Tell them, look, this is the problem we have. This is what I'm doing. And by this time, we hope it will be like this. And then maybe people will be more patient.
Yeah.
But if you just sit there and people are crying and you're not saying anything, then obviously they will get angry. And we don't want to go back to where we've come from. But even the most even the most peaceful Liberians and those who are tired, like they say, of war, when they hit certain point, there's no other option but to react. And we don't want that to happen in our country. So we're begging the president and his people to think twice and do things a bit differently, and really put the people of Liberia first, and worry about themselves later on, But unfortunately, look, we hope that nobody has to die, that they will take heed and make sure that within 35 days they will stop doing the things that they're doing, like the brother was saying. He gave them 35 days. So we hope that in 35 days time they'll take heed and take a different course of act, and see how better we can all work together to make our country great. But as things stand, Max, we just have to wait and see. Wait and see, because I'm worried about June 7th. I'll be honest with
you. Okay. Fidel would say, once again, just say, want to say thank you very, 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 very much for the time. And today we are back as usual. We're going to be here on the Print News Review. Fidel will be here with us on Mondays and Tuesdays, I think. We'll try to when any new schedule happen to come up, we will let you know, ladies and gentlemen. But on this note tonight, Fidel, we want to say thank you for your time, and we do appreciate you always on the show.
Thank you, Max, for having me, and have a good night, and good night to everyone as well.
All right. All right. Right, that's how we're going to end the show tonight. The Print News Review. Fidel Budy, of course, our usual Friday, Tuesdays guest analyst. We had a break, a very long break, and we're back now on the show. Whatever it is, whatever you're doing, do it right. Do it for your community. But that is it. I'm not here to judge anybody. The message came out. I thank God the man, he didn't say in his revelation that we should get in the street and start hitting people, that we should go and take cutlasses or so and start chasing other people. But he said in his revelation that we all should pray for Liberia. Wherever you're doing, especially for those of you in the diaspora, you should pray for your people and also pray for the government to change as well. What more do you want to hear such a revelation anyway? I'm not here to judge it. I'm just here to pass it on. Until then, another time, of course, hopefully tomorrow is a special edition of the program Profile Liberia. I'm hoping to have Martin K. and Collins. But from my end, I say thank you so much for listening. And thank you for watching. Thanks for your contribution as well. I do sincerely apologize for being able to read your comments. From my end, good night.